The Circle of Knowledge podcast is brought to you by Amplified Minds, helping entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, and dreamers take their business ideas and goals to the next level. This podcast features best-selling industry resources and the professional panel discussions by the core team at Amplified Minds. Now, here are their discussions. Hey out there, you achievers. This is Jon Kovach Jr. with the Amplified Minds podcast, also known as the Circle of Knowledge. I have an incredible guest with me today, and someone who I'm really excited to introduce you to get to know a little bit, interview, and also mastermind with some of her nuggets of knowledge and just some information that we're just excited to cover. For those of you listening into the first time, the Circle of Knowledge is an incredible podcast for you to gain information based on the resources of authors, coaches, speakers, entrepreneurs, and just people from all walks of life. We've provided this podcast to give you that information because we believe that information is valuable when you find it best through the people who you love and trust. And that's the basis of the Circle of Knowledge podcast. I am mobile today, coming in live from Harmon's Grocery Store, one of the greatest resources for entrepreneurs on the go. Now, I'd like to introduce my guest speaker, and my guest on the show is Melissa Summers. And Melissa is an incredible professional. And let me just kind of sing accolades about her, and then I'll give her a minute to talk about herself. So, Melissa, be thinking about what you want to say about yourself to introduce to the world. But I want to tell everybody that Melissa has been an incredible resource to us at Amplified Minds. She has literally been the one person who has advocated for us the most at our mastermind groups. She has brought more people than we can count, and she's introduced us to so many opportunities that has given us a platform and a value to grow micro communities in our area. I'm grateful for her. She's actually one of the most intelligent and let's just say this. She is able to elicit things out of people in such an intellectual conversation. Every time I have a conversation with her, I realize how much more there is in her brain that I had no idea that was accessible in just general conversation. And I could sing praises to her as a person and as a friend, but I'm just grateful to have her on the show and to talk a little bit about her, where she's at, her journey, her professionalism. But enough from me. Melissa, how are you today? And I'd love to just kind of give this audience a synopsis of who you are and how that came to be. You know, what's your story and where have you come from? And I'll kind of interject with some questions in between. But tell us about yourself and say hello to the world.
Hello, world. Thank you so much, John. I have to just take a second and say that, you know, I think that one of the reasons why I feel really confident in recommending your masterminds is that you put together something in a very conscientious, thoughtful way, and then brought a ton of energy to it. Because I go to a lot of events. That's kind of my thing. I'm a kind of an event junkie. And I notice, you know, those that are just kind of this haphazard, kind of thrown together sort of situation, and your mastermind every month is so far and away above a lot of those events. So I love advocating for something that I can feel really confident that if I put my, you need to go, this is going to be great, that you guys are going to deliver. And, that makes me kind of look good too, because I recommended it.
And we're a firm believer in that. The value traded with your network is in what you can leverage and provide and share with people. And I feel so happy to share that experience with you, that you enjoy our events so much that it makes you more valuable. Wow, that's beautiful. So tell me a little bit about yourself, your upbringing, and how it became Melissa Summers today, the person we're speaking to today.
Oh, well, that is a long and convoluted journey. I was born and raised in Utah, so native Utah. And I was one of those real high achievers in school. Like, I took 6 AP classes my senior year. I was involved in mock trial and debate and drama. So there was a lot of competitions I was going to every weekend. And I also had a part-time job, and my mother was working on her PhD at the time. So I was also providing, because I'm the oldest, providing some, childcare sort of. I became like the person who drove my brother and my sister around. And it was great. It was actually really fantastic. And, I was going places. I was going to be a lawyer. I'm so glad I didn't. I'm not a lawyer. I'm so glad I did not do that. But about 2 years into college, and I went to school on a full ride debate scholarship. So I was competing. I just kind of had this breakdown. And a lot of times from the research I did later that like mental illness can manifest itself in your early 20s. So that seemed like what really kind of happened to me. It was like this person who was this high achiever, who was doing things, who was going places, had all this promise, and then suddenly somebody who had no ambition and no desire or even ability to like get out of bed and feed herself. It was a really ugly space and time in my life. And I ended up in kind of an abusive relationship, and I was back in my mother's basement. It was not the prettiest of sights. But then I started working for a place that was solely focused on entrepreneurialism. That's what they did. And I think they kind of, took a risk in hiring me because I didn't have a job history. I wasn't an entrepreneur of any kind, but they hired me, and I just threw myself into it. I really actually, working with entrepreneurs, working with the material, I just started to wake up again. And it was through that first year of working there that I started my own business. And I suddenly, like the person that I was in high school suddenly started to wake up. Like she became again, like it was a sluggish little bit of a process. Like she'd been in a coma forever. But I like rediscovered myself. And so for me, small business is more than, just a side hustle, because I think side hustles are important, but small business is important for a healthy economy, that it can be a way of, independence and financial security, all of the really, really good reasons to have a small business. But for me, it was this personal thing. It was this emotional attachment that if I can help a small business in any way succeed a little bit more, then that fills my heart. And when a small business fails, or I see one doing something really dumb when it comes to marketing, because I see that, it comes as like almost a physical blow to my stomach, because because small business is not just a thing. It's this incredibly emotionally imbued activity that really, really cuts to the heart. It was small business is something that I think a lot of people use to try and refine themselves, like to recapture something that they had when they were younger and maybe have lost as they became adults.
For as long as I've known Melissa, I can personally say that she, as thoughtful and intellectual and sharp as she is in the professional world, man, would she be the most incredible asset to any large corporation or company in her role and in her expertise as a leader and as a communicator. She is phenomenal at that. But one thing I would love to elicit is how much I have never identified you with a particular brand. And I know that just recently in a conversation, I thought you were still working with the company, but now knowing that you've got your own business, you're working that, and that's your kind of hustle. And I think that is incredible, because I never was surprised. I was like, oh, well, you know what? I never identified you with a brand other than yourself, because you are an incredible professional that has always had a sharp intellect about what your expertise is, and being able to share that with people in a very, very great way has always been the Melissa I've known. So I wanted to throw that out there, because it only seems truths behind what you just shared. I've had conversations with people where they say, oh, you know, your home life affects your business life if you own a business. And I 100% agree with that. But the second you find your personal life working for you, your business begins to skyrocket. Your ability to work with people is incredible. So I'd love to kind of reverse that back on you and say, what's the journey been like as a business owner? What is that? And maybe give us a little bit of background on who you are, what you do, and what your expertise is, so that we can kind of further the conversation in regards to that journey.
Well, it really started with just business consulting, educating, training, doing screen sharing with clients to help them understand certain processes, certain steps, that sort of thing. And it over time, I mean, I can talk on any business, small business kind of subject. But I really started to fall in love with marketing, because that's where things become uniquely personal to a brand. Because you want to sell pet products. There's lots of people selling pet products, but the way you market is now very much you. And that's where I really, really enjoyed. So I started out with just the business consulting, and now I'm an attraction marketing consultant, because that's what I love. Like, if you want to ask me about, putting together a website, I can help you with that. And it's fun, but it's not what wakes me up at night and makes me think. It's really the marketing, and specifically attraction marketing, where you're pulling your content, your message is put together packaged in content that attracts the people that you really would want to work with, the people who would want to pay you what you're worth. And so I find myself really kind of drawn to mission-driven entrepreneurs that are not just, I want to make some money, I'm going to do a side hustle. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But those that are like, I have a mission, I have a message that I need to share. Like, I need to do this thing. I've been called to do it and I don't know how. Or they've got something put together and they're like, now I need to market and I don't know what I'm doing. That's my particular area of genius, I think, because, really working with an individual and saying, okay, well, what is your message? Let's get that like super clear, make your message marketable, make it catchy, make it punchy, get really clear on the ideal client, because that's probably the hardest thing with any entrepreneur in any field, is saying we need to pick a niche market, and they're like, no, I want to help everybody in the world, everybody needs the thing I have. And I'm like, I know everybody does, but when you're marketing, we need to pick a certain segment we really need to define, so that when you're creating your content, it makes sense to them. And working with them to do that, not just saying this is what you need to do and then hoping they do it, but actually workshopping and then going through the whole brainstorming process and back and forth and suggestions and trying it out, because marketing is all experimentation. So trying it out, coming back and saying, okay, what worked, what didn't work, what kind of results did we get, how did you feel about it? Okay, let's try, a different iteration this next week, and that back and forth. That's stuff that I just really, really love. I love, making a plan with somebody, having them go out and do it, and then come back and we can talk about it and make a plan to go forward.
There's so many things you just touched there that are just absolutely phenomenal, and I want to kind of dive into them a little bit deeper. And what I loved is you've made marketing not this, oh, I have to do marketing, oh, we need to spend money on marketing, but you've turned it into this experiment, is the word you used, experiment. It's something you have to, mold and work with, like you're building a clay sculpture, but it's something that you kind of brought into a positive light that makes me excited to learn about marketing, because most people, they fall into marketing as like, okay, I need to have some sort of paid advertisement or paid structure. But what you've just created is, and we're using the word, the word you used again was, what kind of marketing did you call it? Let's make sure we say it. So attraction marketing. Awesome. Yeah. And I want to make sure we say that over and over again, so becomes a thing. You ever watch the word mean, or the movie Mean Girls, and they're like,
yes,
no, fetch will never be a thing. Well,
it'll never be a thing.
It'll never be. This is going to be a thing. And I want this to catch on, and I want it to be associated with Melissa because she has described this in a really cool way. One, marketing is an experiment, and it needs to be something that you constantly are working at. It's not just a one and done transaction. And I love that theory, and I love that concept. The other thing too is that this type of marketing is going to attract those who are seeking what they are looking for. And we are used to the whole, all right, let's have marketing 101. Let's sit down, let's identify our avatar. And that is all very, very important and part of the process. But what we get lost in seeking is the attraction marketing side, where we are creating something that is going to pull in our audiences, especially in the entrepreneurial world. So let's dive a little bit deeper into that and talk more about what it means to use attraction marketing versus your typical marketing structures.
Well, once upon a time, before the internet, and we had a lot more control over how we consume content, it was all based on what they called interruption marketing, as opposed to attraction marketing, kind of diametrically opposed. So that's what commercials came from. Things that just interrupted what you were doing. So the whole idea on marketing was predicated on, you got to interrupt somebody doing whatever it is that they're doing and deliver something to them. And now, back when we had was 3 channels, and then we had more, but that's all we have. And now on the internet, we have so much more control over how we consume content. We can skip ads, watch them not at all. So interruption marketing, it's still somewhat effective. And I think it always will be, but it actually it's more alienating to a potential client. They actually feel less trusting of a company that interrupts them than they do of companies where they are consuming content, like actual valuable content, something that they're interested in, whether it's entertainment, like it's humor or entertainment drama, or it's information they've actually sought out. And then when they consume that content, they have a trust because they chose to consume that content. And then if that person who created the content then makes an offer, they're much more likely to feel like they can trust that person, that if they were to actually take advantage of the offer, that they're going to, receive value for whatever it is that they're paying for. So now everybody talks about content marketing. That's a word that everybody has been throwing out lately the last couple of years, is content marketing. But I think that what the big mistake is that with content marketing, entrepreneurs especially get into this mindset where they just have to produce content. Just produce and produce and produce and produce. And most of us are not Gary Vee and cannot produce at that level. We have other things we're doing. And never mind the fact that man is an animal unto himself. So they get trapped in this idea that either they have to pay for it, which is totally not true. So they throw a bunch of money at a digital marketing agency, or they set up their own ads, which is not recommended. Unless you have some money to burn, because you're probably going to screw it up the first couple of times. Or they hire an agency and they spend a ton of money and they get very, very little results. And it's because they don't have those fundamentals built for the attraction aspect of it. And it's not just about creating content. It's about making content that, repels, like a magnet, repels the people that aren't going to be interested. And you're like, fine, I don't want to work with you, so I'm glad that my content does not interest you, because you're not my ideal client anyway. Don't contact me because I'm not going to work with you. And attracts those people who say, yeah, that resonates with me. Yes, you're speaking my language. This is the person that I want to consume more content from. That's a person that I feel I can resonate with. And then when you make an offer to an audience that has all the chaff, all the stuff you don't want expelled from it, you're speaking to, a much smaller audience, of course, but you're speaking to a bunch of people who are already really happy with who you are and what you're talking about. They're much more likely to raise their hand and say yes when you make them an offer, because they've already built up this, they like you, they know you, and they trust you, which is always bad. The maximum of any marketing is like, know, and trust. That will always be true, regardless if you do interruption marketing or attraction marketing.
Two questions for you before I throw in my next comment. Are you going to be writing a book about this? Is there something that people can access this information? Because we are so used to the interruption marketing principle, even though television itself is on the down and streaming is on the up, advertising will always still be a revenue source that's in the multi-trillions. But even then, this is just fascinating to me. Are you working on a way to explain and educate people on this process? Is this something that is in kind of your wheelhouse and you're working on?
I'm not actually in the. I of course have a book in my head. It's
yes, of course.
It's still percolating, as I call it. I see it simmering, like on the back burner. Like the best kind of chili is the stuff that goes for a little bit longer. But I do weekly training for free in my Facebook group, so I'm providing content that way. And then I'm also producing content as well, because then you can always repurpose into marketing that way as well. And I've been holding workshops. I have a group coaching program, so that I'm also providing more training to those that are like seriously committed. Because when I do training like online, it's never really super in depth. I lose a lot of people because it's Facebook. You're always a little bit less attuned in those sorts of things. But so don't have a book just yet, but definitely have a lot of opportunities for those people that really, again, identify that the things that I'm saying are not necessarily new. They're not revolutionary. They're simply my interpretation of what the marketing environment needs right now, and what entrepreneurs should be really clarifying how they're doing their marketing, so that they're not spending $10,000 on something that's not going to really give them a lot of revenue, or they're not spending any money, but they're still buying into interruption tactics, which, like you send out a message to a bunch of people on Facebook, right? Like your whole friends list, you send them the same message over and over again, and either you get banned by Facebook for spamming, and then I also just alienate people, and I call them out. Like, if you want to send me a spam message, I've reworded what I say to be a little bit more polite, but it didn't always start out that way. It was like, what did you just do? I didn't ask for this. And I used maybe a swear word or two, because that's kind of a little crass when I get a little irritated. Because I'm like, did you even look at my profile? I talk about marketing, and this is definitely something I talk about not doing. So why did you just do it to me? You obviously don't know who I am or care. But that's interruption marketing. Emails are a form of interruption marketing. Messages through Facebook Messenger are a form of interruption marketing, and it really alienates your audience. And Facebook knows that. Facebook will ban you, put you in Facebook jail, as we call it, for doing that sort of thing, because Facebook's whole idea is to make their users happy, so their users will continue to use it. And then they can make money from their ad revenue. If everybody stopped using Facebook, no one would pay Facebook for ads, and Facebook would make no money. So Facebook tries to make the user experience as good as possible, and people who spam make us hate Facebook. And so they'll crack down on it. But I mean, I've actually got a few clients from somebody spam messaging me, and me pointing out how that's not going to work for them, and they usually push back, and they're like, well, a multi-million-dollar guy, multi-millionaire person told me how to do it, so that's why I'm doing it this way. And I'm like, well, he maybe made his money back when Facebook was very new and we all opened our messages and trusted everybody, but not that way anymore. And I wish him luck. I'm like, well, if it doesn't work out, you can come back and we can talk about how attraction marketing can actually work for you. And people have come back and said, okay, you're right. After I got out of Facebook jail, I messaged you and I really want to figure out what it is I can do, because I really believe in what I've got, that it can help people, that it can help me make a living while making an impact. And then we started working together, and that's great. Most of the time I end up getting blocked though. They're like, oh, that's mean. You're the meanest person on Facebook. Maybe. I don't think so.
The way that you answered my question is only evidence of how much value you have to provide. And the reason why I say that is because, a lot of people will create a book or something that's kind of stationary, and it's like, this claims the theories or the concepts that I employ. And then about 2 weeks later, the world has evolved and we're already working on a different concept. And that's how I felt when I read, and this is totally great shout out to Mr. Gary Vee. We've mentioned him twice on this episode today, but I read Crush It, and as I'm reading it, I'm like, uh-oh, some of these platforms don't exist anymore. Some of these are a little irrelevant. There was one platform called Periscope, and it was on the brink of being the greatest platform for video live stream content. But I realized Periscope was, and my facts might be wrong on this, but I believe Periscope was purchased by one of the bigger companies, and then they just threw it to trash because they didn't want it competing with the big platforms. And I love that, because what you just said was, look, I don't have a book today. If you want to get in on this information, follow my Facebook, follow my group, get involved in what I'm teaching, because I'm on, and I've watched your videos. There's some incredible stuff on there, valuable information. And I encourage everyone to do that, because what this is talking about is when you go through Marketing 101 and you get that education, you go through a series of questions that you've got to identify. And of those questions, there is identify your ideal clients. You know, who do you want to work with? And then to subsequent that, they say, who is someone you absolutely refuse to work with? And then what I love about attraction marketing is, instead of repelling those who don't necessarily want to be the ones who we work with, but it actually attracts those within all spectrums to gain a better relationship based on the desired outcome. If I'm actually understanding that correctly.
No, yeah, exactly. It gives you, if you're attracting, you're also repelling, and you're repelling the people that aren't going to be not going to want to buy from you. So then you're not spending your time as an entrepreneur chasing people who don't want to buy from you. I mean,
because how much time do we spend chasing?
Yeah, like you feel like a used car salesman, like you're chasing people, like you're hounding them, and that does not feel good. Like that doesn't make, and then people are like, oh, just get over it, you know, like get over it. That's how sales works. And I'm like, well, to some extent, yeah, you have to leave your ego at the door when it comes to sales, because you're going to get rejections, but you can dramatically reduce the number of rejections that you get if you're only talking to an audience that opts in for information. Instead of being like, hey, let me send out this mass message, I'd be like, hey, is anybody interested in this? And then they could message me, because I invite them to message me, or they put a comment and then I message them, but then they've asked for that information. They've invited me to have a conversation with them based on my invitation. And then it makes it so much easier. And then if they say no, then it's like, I don't feel dirty. I don't feel like we had a bad relationship, like we're still friends. And it's happened that, you know, I have a conversation. We talk about, you know, the opportunity to work with me at a higher level, and they say no. And I'm like, okay, you know, that's not a problem. And then months later, they come back and say, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready now. I wasn't ready then, but I am ready now. And no one would come back to me if I were like nagging them the whole time. You want to work with me? You want to work with me? You want to work with me? And I mean, to me, this is even super obvious. Like, it just, you know, and you and I have a conversation, and we're like, this makes so much sense, but I still talk about it, and people still push back. No, I'm not going to identify my ideal clients. No, I'm going to still do this interruption marketing thing that I was taught by a multimillionaire. That's usually the references, like, oh, my upline told me to do this, or multimillionaire told me to do this. And then they send me like a video or a podcast. They're like, listen to this. This just tells you how to do marketing. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, thanks. That's awesome, but I don't think that it's going to work for you. So,
well, as we wrap up part 1 of part 2 total interview sections of this podcast, I want to make sure our listeners listening to the first section are able to get a hold of you. And I have some ideas and resources for them to reach out to you and to learn more about your processes. But first, tell everybody how they can find you on Facebook and how easiest to get a hold of you so that they can inquire more information or just get involved with what you're doing in your world.
Yeah, Facebook is probably the best place, because while reaching out to me directly is totally welcome, and I'll give you guys my email address, I would really love for you to just experience more about what I'm doing, because I want you to know who I am, because I think that that's going to give you a little, more grounding in whether you want to continue to work with me or not. Because again, I am a little blunt. No, I'm a lot blunt. A lot blunt. and I do swear occasionally, and that can be super off-putting to some people. I totally get that. You're just not my tribe if me, saying a swear word occasionally is gonna, alienate you, and that's perfectly fine. So I have a Facebook group called Entice Your Tribe. Entice Your Tribe. And so if you just go to Facebook and just search that, you'll find it. Just click join. It asks you a few questions like, don't violate the rules. Do you agree to that sort of thing? And then I think it's a great place not only to get the content that I'm producing, but it's a great place to try out maybe a piece of content that you're thinking about putting out and getting feedback from other people before you actually post it, like to your own page or your own profile. But my email address is me, I couldn't think of a better one, I'm sorry, me at melissasummers.com, and that's melissasummers.com.
Awesome. And then as we transition over to part 2 of this interview, be thinking of the golden nugget item that you want to share with the world. What knowledge can you share based on who you are, your experiences, and what you know that we can share with our group, mastermind it, and then challenge them to take action on it. It's
my sushi process. I'm going to show
awesome.
you sushi. Yeah.
I'm pumped to talk about it. And to wrap that up too, if you didn't get any of that information, we are going to put all of her information that she shared with us over the show notes. So if you find this 2 years later, you can still get a hold of Melissa as well. You're also welcome to, if you want the personal Jon Kovach introduction, you can just text her name, Melissa Summers, MELISSA, Summers, SUMMERS, to the number 435-222-5060. And I'll just personally make an introduction to you and Melissa so that you have that ongoing conversation. Now, she's probably going to want you to go down the Facebook route because that's just going to be easier. That's where she sits, and that's her business, and that's going to be an incredible place to catch her.
Yeah, but hey, recommendation from Jon is always going to be golden. I know that you're, a good guy, a lot of energy.
Well, I hope that rings true. When people find this years down the road and I get a text, Melissa Summers, I'll be like, yes, start a conversation. Let's go. Oh, but I love it. Great. And if you're just now joining us, this is the second segment of our podcast, The Circle of Knowledge, where we share bits of information based on what we've learned and gained. And we need the world to know these things because value and information is built on trust, and trust is created through the influence that we create within ourselves and our relationships. So today I have joining me Melissa Summers, and she is an incredible entrepreneur and business owner and the expert in attraction marketing. And I wanted to bring her on the show, and I'm super excited to share this space with her, a great friend and professional within my network who I like to leverage and promote as often as I can. I sure hope this isn't the last time you're on our show, Melissa. I hope we make this a regular thing. But
I love that.
And I love that, and I think that that's something that we need to continue to do. But what we want to move into this segment of the podcast is talk a little bit about the circle of knowledge within our lives. And I want to give you kind of an open platform and to answer the question, what golden ticket or little nuggets of knowledge you obtained over your lifetime or through your experience or even just in your profession as an expert in attraction marketing. What nugget of knowledge can we share with the world that they need to know? And then as a result, we're going to mastermind it a little bit, and then we're going to challenge them to take action on something. So what knowledge can you share with the world that you think is something invaluable that everyone needs to know or share, or at least obtain?
Well, I have an attraction marketing method, and it's called SUSHI, because I am the queen of acronyms, and I actually came up with the whole idea of that particular acronym around Thanksgiving of last year. My sister is a type 1 diabetic, and so we can't have Thanksgiving meal. Like then we can't eat any of the Thanksgiving stuff, but she can eat sushi. So for Thanksgiving, my family goes for sushi. We don't eat turkey, ham, any of that. We go for sushi, and we go out for Thanksgiving. So that's how I came up with it. That's what I was eating when it kind of came to me. So it's an acronym, but if you follow each of the letters, then you're doing attraction marketing correctly. And of course, it's all got to be customized to you and your specific niche and what you're doing. But it's kind of like a checklist, which can make it really easy if you have it at the top of your head. So the first S in SUSHI is for solution clarity. And that's incredibly important. And what I mean by that is that you have to know what it is that your unique solution to whatever it is that you're offering. And if it's not really all that unique, then you need to work on it. We really need it. And it can be kind of a little bit of a run-on sentence. We don't want it to be a paragraph, but we want it to capture really the very essence of what it is that you do, how you do it, and the results that you get, because that's where people become interested. It's not that I say I'm an attraction marketing consultant, like that's interesting, but if I don't, that's not a solution, right? Like I'm not going to assume, you should never assume that your potential client's going to make that leap on their own, because most of the time they won't. They'll be just like, well, that's interesting. So you have to have a solution that really captures and sticks. So you have to kind of make it snappy. This is where having a copywriter can be really helpful. I have a lot of my background's in English. I was raised by an English teacher. I had a dictionary under my pillow growing up. So that's something that I really, really help with. But again, you got to experience, a good copywriter. That's where you want to go and get that really, really clear. The U is for understanding your ideal client avatar, your ICA. The ICA is not my acronym, so I can't really claim it. That's an industry thing. But the idea there is, again, getting really clear. I had one client tell me, I said, okay, so we need to work on this. I was doing a group training, and she's like, oh, I've already done that. I'm like, great. What is your ideal client? She's like, people with pets. I'm like, okay. I mean, that does narrow it down some, because not everybody has pets, but I think we need to get clear. And she actually pushed back at me, just pushed and pushed. The thing is that, you can't market effectively to people with pets, like, because everybody's got like a person with a tarantula considers themselves a pet owner, but if you don't have any tarantula supplies, you should not be marketing to them. If people who take their dogs to a groomer, that's what they do, they have the money to do that or that sort of thing, then sending them a message about that there's a sale on your grooming supplies is not going to work, because they don't care. They don't groom their dogs. They take them somewhere, and that sort of thing. So I explained this to her, and she's just started to kind of come around, but it's still a process, because the idea that you don't get really super clear, super narrowed down on your niche is a part of interruption marketing. You just shotgun it out there, and hopefully the people that will resonate with it. It's like getting a billboard. How many people drive by a billboard? And most of them aren't your ideal clients. So shotgun marketing is incredibly expensive and not great on the ROI, especially for an entrepreneur. We don't have a ton of money or a ton of time or a ton of resources. So we have to be very careful about how we go about doing our marketing, so we're not spending a ton of time and not getting a lot of results. So becoming really, really clear with that, doing a lot of research, understanding who your ideal client is, what they fear, what they desire, what are their obstacles to achieving what their desires are, that sort of thing. The next S is for sharing unreservedly. And that's where my English unreservedly is such a big word. But it essentially just means that you're not holding back. I get that a lot too, that, I don't want to give everything away, Melissa. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't give it all away at once. Don't just drop a dissertation on Facebook and then hope that that's going to work out. You can piece it out over time into nice marketable chunks that people can consume easily. But don't be afraid that you're going to give away your secret sauce recipe, because that's not going to stop anybody. Like, I think everybody's known where they can get the Kentucky Fried Chicken secret thing, but it doesn't stop us from going to Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's the thing. You don't worry about giving away too much. Again, you do want to be careful about what you give away all at once, because that really can be super overwhelming. But piecing it out, putting it together in a content package that's going to resonate with your audience just makes them feel more confident. In this day and age of the internet, information is essentially free. They can get the same information that you're giving them, unless you're the only person who has ever thought of it, and I don't think that's ever going to be any of us. They can get it anywhere. It's the way you deliver it, you talk about the content, producing it is what's going to attract them to you. So I just operate from the idea that information is free. I will provide information all day long. I'm not gonna charge for it. But if you want training specific to your niche and your particular goals and my thought process along that, I'm happy. Then implementation costs money. So that's where you want to kind of run your lines on the sharing unreservedly. Don't hold back. Just provide, because that's really going to be a big part of building that trust factor. H is for honesty. It used to be humility, but a lot of people didn't understand that word, so it got lost in translation. So I tried it for honesty, and it's something that I think entrepreneurs my age, because we're raised in kind of an environment pre-internet, and where you had to look professional if you want all the time in your business. Like, it was professional all the time, and the fake it till you make it phrase is from that particular marketing generation. So I was steeped in that, and I think again a lot of entrepreneurs my age and a little bit older are still operating from that fact that they have to look perfect. And no is the obvious. The short answer is don't do that. Nobody identifies with perfection. When they're looking for someone, if they want to just look at you, fine, but you don't want people just to look at you. You want people to work with you. You want them to come and pay you for what you can do for them and help them change their lives. And if you want people to feel confident enough to give you money, they can't see perfection, because then you're just something to look at. Then you're just a Barbie, right? You're a porcelain doll. You're not something I'm going to work with. So if you come from a place of honesty, don't get on Facebook and do an ugly crying session. Don't do that. That's just embarrassing. Don't necessarily air your really dirty laundry in public, but getting on there and sharing terrible bedhead. I've seen that sometimes, if that's going to resonate with your audience, of course. But candid camera pictures of your family, things that you're doing, just posting in that you're checking in somewhere, that you're hanging out with somebody. I mean, those are little things, but you're being honest and transparent that, yeah, I'm a real person. I have real struggles that I overcame, and I can help you with what you're struggling with. So just coming from a place of honesty not only attracts the people you want to work with, it means that when someone is attracted to you and decides to work with you, that they're not going to get a feeling of bait and switch. Because if they thought you were this one thing, because that's how you were portraying yourself, even though that's not honestly you, then they're like, okay, I want to work with that person. And then they start working with you, and obviously working a lot more, you're going to come out as yourself. They're going to be like, what the heck? What happened? Plus, people are just so much more savvy these days. They can actually start to identify. They can see when someone's being fake. They can feel it, and they're like, "Oh, that's gross." Maybe they might not even articulate it all the way up to their conscious mind. But they know, and that's definitely, you're not going to attract the people you want to work with, because you're going to be attracting somebody that your persona is attracting. So it's definitely a fail situation. And then I is for invitation. It's still sales, but I want to reframe the idea, because sales is just as scary a word as marketing. They're both super scary. I don't do sales. Sales is scary. Instead, if you just think of it as, I'm going to extend an invitation, message me, send me an email, comment below, and I'll send you some more information. When you're extending an invitation, it doesn't feel as icky. You're mentally not thinking that you're being salesy, because you're inviting you're inviting a friend, or somebody that you met, and you're like, hey, you should come over sometime for a barbecue. That feels so much better. And then when you're coming from that sort of mental mindset, then your audience responds to it better too, because it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel gross. You don't feel gross, so you're not projecting taking that gross onto everybody else. It's still sales, you guys. Like, you still have to get comfortable with sales and the process. Sometimes getting a script, that's what's really helped me, is to have a script that you practice until it feels natural. But that can really, really help in terms of your sales process. But again, if you change the mindset that you're just having a conversation, you're just inviting people to have a conversation, and then you just have a conversation, then it goes so much easier, because you just don't feel that negative emotion that always comes with the word sales. It's still sales though. Just think of it as an invitation. Yeah.
So let's review the acronym SUSHI again. Give them the SUSHI. Let's just kind of briefly overview those again, because I thought that was so cool. And by the way, I'm super excited to from now on ever always call you the queen of acronyms, because I just think it's so cool. So there you go, hashtag.
Yes.
So let's briefly review that SUSHI, the acronym for your sales marketing.
Yep. So the first S is for solution clarity, and real clear about what it is that you offer and how you get the results you do. The second one is for understanding your ideal client, your ICA. The next S is for sharing unreservedly, just putting it out there and creating content for your audience. The H is for honesty, coming across that you are a real human being with real struggles and real successes. And then I is for invitations to conversations.
I love that. It follows our methodologies and our philosophies so much, hand in hand, line by line, because we focus on value first, return later. And you will never lose the opportunity. Okay, you may lose the opportunity. You will never lose the responsibility as a marketer or a salesperson to do the invitation part. But that comes as a result of the other keys to this process. And I love that you've created SUSHI. Now I'm craving sushi, and I think that's what I'm eating for lunch today. But it is a great way to remember how to engage with the right customers through this attraction marketing segment. And I think this is super cool. And I think those listening right now, you need to definitely take notes, and you need to contact Melissa to learn more about this, because you're probably missing out on a lot of potential clientele or just the right people to work with if you're not employing some of these processes. And the reason why is because you're missing out on the value share instead of the value add. And the value share is a little bit different. The value share is what you're providing as a result of invitation, whereas the value add is you're just spouting it out to the universe, which is what we see in a lot of marketing and advertising today. You drive down the road, value add, boom. I know that there's a law firm, boom. I know that there's a technology firm, boom. I know so-and-so is running for president next year. Whatever it all is, that's just added information. We don't need more. We need to let's say resemble and reside with more value. And I wanted to kind of make that position. I don't know if you had any other thoughts or comments on that regard.
No, you're absolutely right. Unless you have a huge budget for interruption marketing, and most entrepreneurs don't, at least my target audience doesn't, then you have to create content that resonates, because that's going to make a big difference. Even if you're doing something that there's so many other people doing, like you're a virtual assistant, or you're a life coach, or you're a relationship coach, or whatever it is that you're doing, there's other people who are doing it, and that's perfectly fine. There are plenty of people out there for everybody. Like, there's plenty of buyers. The right people who are going to be like, yes, I want to work with you. How do I pay you? Like, that's the people we want to talk to, right? Like, I want to talk to people who are like, you are absolutely right on the money. Here's my credit card. Like, that makes the sales part so much easier, because you're talking to somebody who's genuinely interested in actually finding out more information about working with you. So that's, value add versus value share makes a huge difference. I mean, value share is just the same as attraction marketing. It's finding that people, identifying them, creating content that resonates with them, that says, yes, you're speaking my language. And then from there, extending that invitation to have a conversation. And some of those conversations aren't going to result in a sale, but you had a great conversation with somebody who likes you already. Like, who doesn't love just talking to people who want to talk to you? Like, it just makes the whole workday easier and much more fun.
Yeah, you want to definitely turn your identified audience and the people you want to work with as, immediate friends and fans. a great coach and speaker, Dan Thurman, he ends every single message, every single email, and every single phone call with, thanks, Dan. And it's usually signed with your friend and fan, Dan Thurman. And I love that. I love that principle.
That's awesome.
Creating relationships early on with your future customers is an incredible thing. Well, to kind of wrap all this up, this was an incredible value add and value share, and I appreciate your time, Melissa, and thanks for being on the show with us. And let's not make this the last, please. Let's make this a regular thing, because I think this content needs to be discovered by a lot more than just the people on this show, and we'll find creative, responsible ways of sharing that information. But if there was one thing that we want any one person from our audience today to walk away with and can immediately apply in their life or in their business from the principles that we talked about, the stories that we shared, what's one challenge that we can issue to them today to take action on and to try it in their business or in their life?
I'd say let's start with the very first S, is getting clear on your solution, because that's going to make a big difference to helping you identify your ideal client. Because you're going to really get clear on what you do and how you get results. It then kind of feeds that whole mindset into identifying the potential client. Because if you have a solution and then you try it out, because again, marketing is experimentation, you try it out and you're not getting the kind of response from the people that you really want to work with, then it gives you an indication that maybe your message is still not clear, and then you can refine it. So if you can go out and do that, I would love to hear what people say, like what their solution is, like for them to come in and say, this is my solution. So if you make a post and you just tag me in it, or you go to my Facebook group, entice your tribe, and put it there, I would love to see it. And then if I think that there might be a place for, revision or making it a little bit tighter, I'll just tell you. I don't hold back. I'm kind of blunt and kind of insert myself into conversations. I'm not polite like that. If you post it, I'm going to say I'm going to say awesome. That's usually my word. And then if there is any feedback I can give you, I'm going to just give it to you. Like, there's no cost, no pressure, no pitch. It's just, here, if I can make your small business that much more successful, then that's my mission. That's my God-given, source-given, whatever one you call it. That's my calling in life, is to make small businesses more successful through their marketing.
I absolutely love that. And that's incredible. So the challenge is, everybody, create that first S, identify your solution and refine that. But then, tag Melissa online and let's start that conversation on early, because she's going to do nothing more than help you. I would rather give the deciding factor to somebody else and say, hey, tell me what needs to be done or fixed, than me having to sit down and say, okay, I really need to decide whether this is the actual principle that needs to be applied. You know what I mean? I'd rather give it to someone else. And Melissa's the perfect person to do that, because she's going to be blunt, direct, and communicative in that regard, which is why we trust her and love her so much. I appreciate you being on the show. Let's make this a recurring thing. But
definitely, I have so many more acronyms about like identifying your ideal client and how to create content that attracts. Like, they're all built around acronyms. That's why this just happened. I didn't do that on purpose. It just happened.
Well, Melissa, this has been incredible. Everybody listening, Melissa Summers, she is the expert of attraction marketing and the queen of acronyms. We appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invitation, John. It's been great.
Hey, this is John with Amplified Minds. Thanks again for listening to the show. We really hope you enjoyed the Circle of Knowledge podcast. If you like the Circle of Knowledge podcast, go ahead, subscribe, rate us, and if you give us a 5-star review, we promise to give you a personal shout out here on the air. Just watch us. You can also engage with us a little bit more through social media. On any channel, you can just find us at Amplified Minds. To learn more about Amplified Minds, go to our website at amplifiedminds.com. That's AMPLIFIEDMINDS.com. Through our website, you can join any one of our mastermind groups from anywhere in the world. In the mastermind groups, you and other members of the community of achievers can mastermind and talk about all of your aspirations, your dreams, your goals, and even the challenges you face. Whether you're a business owner or an entrepreneur or anything else, you can achieve your goals through a mastermind group. You should also check out the Amplified Minds Accountability Program, where you can gain access to a one-on-one personal accountability coach, somebody who will contact you weekly and motivate you, hold you accountable, follow up, and give you the proper resources that will help you to go out and achieve all your goals. Hey, shout out to all you coaches, speakers, mentors, the superheroes of the world. We have the perfect program for you and your audiences. We have the capabilities of setting your audience and communities up in private mastermind groups and assign them a one-on-one personal accountability coach where they can help your people achieve the things that they're working towards, tailored to your programs. For more information about this, go ahead and send me an email at Jon, that's Jon, at amplifiedminds.com. I look forward to hearing from you.